So yesterday I took to Twitter and I asked you guys, hey, what is your favorite soundtrack in the whole GTA series? And we got a lot of good feedback. I love interacting with you guys and hearing your thoughts on the series as well. So radio stations have always played a central role in the GTA games, whether you like to listen to music or just turn it off.
I'm turning this shit off. I can't take listening to those annoying ads and DJs right now.
Music helps capture the era and atmosphere of video games, and the greatest example of this that I can provide is in GTA Vice City. And when Rockstar was past the aux cord, it was game over. They had one job, and they just completely blew it out of the water. And without this soundtrack in Vice City, I think the game would be far less enjoyable, and the experience just wouldn't be there. So Rockstar didn't just go out and pick the most popular songs from the 1980s. No, they went out and got the most 80s songs from the 80s. And myself and many others included didn't get to live through the 1980s because we weren't born. And when Vice City released, it definitely targeted the younger audience. And many of these younger guys and gals were just little babies and little kids in the 1980s and probably didn't remember this era and get to experience it to its fullest. So you can time travel in a sense with music. Everyone has a song that takes them back to a certain place and time in their life. And when I hear any song from the Vice City soundtrack, I get taken back to a 7-year-old me taking over the streets of Vice City. And in a way, I feel like I got to experience and live through the 1980s. With the release of GTA 1 in 1997, 7 radio stations were introduced to us. And fun fact for those of you guys who actually have a copy of Grand Theft Auto 1, you could actually take the game disc and put it into any CD player. Who even uses those anymore, right? But you just skip over track 1 because this is the track that contains all the game's data, and after this, you could actually listen to all of the in-game music. So this is really cool. GTA 1 didn't have too much to it as far as the soundtrack went. It was obviously not a primary focal point in the development of this game. It was just a mere simple feature added in. But it's cool because over time, Rockstar has just expanded on this greatly. Now, skipping around a little bit, let's go ahead and jump to GTA London. This game takes place in the 1960s, and in order to capture the essence of London in this era, Rockstar decided to license music from this era, focusing on a combination of funky Italian film scores and early reggae. Now, the reason behind this was to give it the feeling of a British crime caper from the time, and man, this is probably one of the most, odd soundtracks in the whole GTA series, but hey, Rockstar did what they had to do. Now, it wasn't really until GTA 3 release that radio stations started to evolve into kind of what we know today. So, with this game, there was a huge expansion over the radio stations of its predecessor being GTA 2. GTA 3 actually introduced to us different genres of music and also a talk show radio. This is kind of where those came into play, which is really cool because they tend to be parodies of real life radio shows and they just feature hilarious dialogue and conversations. So this is also where police chatter was implemented. So if you get into a cop car, instead of hearing just the basic radio, you actually hear police chatter, just different radio frequencies and things like that. So many of the songs in GTA 3 were actually written specifically for the game's soundtrack. And what's cool is that a lot of the contributing real-life artists that actually made songs for this game, they weren't very well known at the time. Their careers were just starting out. And with GTA 3 being so popular, for some artists, this actually proved advantageous to their careers. You could throw that on a resume like, hey, I did work for this awesome game right here. And there's a plethora of well-known artists that made music for GTA 3. One of the artists that I'm familiar with is Royce da 5'9", but there are just a ton of others out there. And out of all the GTA soundtracks, I would say GTA 3, unfortunately, is probably one of my least favorite. It was just a weird soundtrack, featured a bunch of artists that I wasn't too familiar with, so maybe that's why I'm not a fan of it, but hey, to each his own. Now, going back to Vice City, I could talk about this soundtrack for days. If you guys can't tell by now, this is by far my most favorite soundtrack in the GTA series. And it's simply just because everything I stated earlier on in the video, it's all true, to me at least. So the soundtrack of this game literally helped capture the era of 1980s Miami. Without this soundtrack, the game would just not be what it is. From the first time that we get in a car and we're able to free roam in Vice City and Michael Jackson's Billie Jean is programmed to play on the radio, not only is this one of the most popular songs of all time, and even the microphone I'm talking to you guys on is actually the same brand, same style microphone that Michael Jackson recorded Billie Jean on in the whole Thriller album. But this song is also one of the most popular songs of the 80s, and as we get in this car, you're literally sucked into this world, in this atmosphere of 1980. It's real, and you guys are like, okay, here we are, we're in the 80s, let's kick some Vice City ass. But other bands are also included, like Twisted Sister, Slayer, Anthrax, just tons of amazing artists from the era of the 1980s, which is just so freaking awesome. But definitely my favorite of the bunch, and definitely something I think Rockstar did a very good job with. Now, the soundtrack for GTA San Andreas is another great example of an era captured perfectly through a soundtrack. Set in sunny Los Angeles in the year 1992, the hip-hop scene at this time predominantly ruled the radios. And I'm a fan of 90s West Coast hip-hop. It's one of my favorite genres. I love Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Eazy-E, NWA, Dr. Dre. Just all of these amazing rappers and producers from this era. And in addition to the contemporary 90s music, music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s are also included and captured greatly throughout this game. Even the country genre, man, there are amazing artists like Willie Nelson that's included. And man, when I hear certain songs just like Vice City to this day, it takes me back to a time where I was playing San Andreas, and to a time in the early 90s that obviously I can't remember, but it's cool to experience these eras through music, and even better, through a video game. Moving on to the release of Grand Theft Auto 4 in 2008, this game implemented a bunch of brand new features for the radio station, such as a dynamic radio, meaning that the player was informed of current weather and time. So if it was raining outside, sometimes we get a rainy weather forecast. The time, it'll update us on that if it's nighttime. And also, the music in this game didn't follow a certain loop. It wasn't just the same songs playing one after another. It actually shuffled. And every time you got into a car, or every time there was a new song for a certain radio station, it would shuffle, and you really wouldn't know what was up next. And we're also going to include The Lost and Damned, the first episodic DLC for GTA 4, in this category right here, as well as The Ballad of Gay Tony, the second DLC for GTA 4. So with The Lost and Damned, 5 radio stations were expanded on with this DLC, which is really cool. The hardcore genre is one of those, and we just got to experience it a little more, and it also helped capture just the atmosphere. We're playing as a hardcore biker bandit guy, Johnny Klebitz, and hardcore radio is something we listen to a lot, so it's cool that kind of Rockstar decided to focus on that. And even if you're not a fan of it, you fit that stereotype. It kind of just sucks you in, just like Vice City. And the same thing here goes for The Ballad of Gay Tony. I feel like the music in this one was more hip-hop-esque, more like club-style music, more upbeat, positive, or maybe not necessarily positive, but the primary focal point of this DLC was we're working in nightclubs, and this is the kind of music we got, and once again, it just sucked us in, or me at least, into this atmosphere, into this environment, and I felt like I was a part of it. And lastly, we've got Grand Theft Auto 5. GTA 5 expanded on radio stations bigger and better than ever seen before in the GTA series. GTA 5 features over 20 in-game radio stations on the PC. We've got a radio station where we can actually upload our custom music that we want to listen to from our own playlist, which is cool. And even on the consoles, the music is constantly being updated. We just recently got a brand new radio station with brand new music from brand new artists. And one of my favorite features about the radio stations and soundtrack in GTA 5 is actually the radio station wheel. This is the first time this was ever created. It allows us to easily access different music and radio stations, which I think is really cool versus the older GTA games where you just kind of had to scroll through and couldn't see what you wanted to choose. And sometimes you could skip over it, and instead of being able to go back, you had to go all the way through the loop again just to get to a certain radio station. So also with the radio wheel, you can actually see what song is playing, which is cool, and who it's by. Also, radio station interference is a brand new thing within GTA 5. And it can be heard when listening to an area-specific station, and then when you leave that zone or that area where the signal is available, that radio station disappears. This is like being in Blaine County. Blaine County radio is available to us, or in Los Santos County, WCTR is available to us, but once we leave Los Santos, that radio station disappears. Now, with that said, that's actually pretty much every single GTA radio station and soundtrack ever released. I skipped over GTA 2. It's essentially the same as GTA 1. Nothing really changed too much aside from the songs within these two games. But let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite soundtrack in the whole GTA series? I've said it before. I will say it again. Vice City is definitely my favorite. I read through every single comment, so let me know what your guys' favorite soundtrack is. Very eager to see all of your feedback. I definitely love interacting with you all. So if you did enjoy the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let's try and go for over 2,000 likes on this video for these amazing radio stations in the GTA series. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you guys did enjoy and never want to miss out on another daily video game upload. But with that said and out of the way, I believe that's just about it. Thank you guys for stopping by. My name is Zach Cox. You guys all take it easy, have a safe one, and I will catch you all in the next video.